How realistic is Mountain Blade Bannerlord? I am a history teacher and I have been asked to give my opinion on the game and talk about how close it gets to real life. So we are going to look at medieval artwork, books and anything else that can help us here. And now, let's start. First I want to talk about sieges. For the almost 600 hours of game time I have seen many castles get taken only by attacking. It might look cool, but historically that was something which was avoided and direct attacks were happening only if the settlement refused to surrender. The main idea of a siege is to block any contact and resources from the outside going inside the castle or the opposite. Then how can the attackers take over a castle? There are two major problems for the defenders. Number 1. Food which is in the game, and number 2. Diseases which is not in the game, and I am going to talk about that a little more. So far in the game I have seen only the first problem. When the food of the settlement runs out, individual soldiers from the garrison start surrendering. In some cases in history the food shortage on both sides of the walls was so serious that people started eating literally anything. Even the soldiers who were already dead. A historical record on the First Crusade says the following. Our men suffered from excess hunger. I shudder to say that many of our men, terribly tormented by the madness of starvation, cut pieces of flesh from the dead. These pieces they cooked and ate, savagely devouring the flesh while it was insufficiently roasted. This can give you an idea of how bad things were when there was no food. The second problem are diseases. During the medieval times people didn't have the advanced medicine knowledge we have now, and the diseases were much more deadlier than now. Back then diseases mainly came from bad hygiene. We know that people threw their waste in rivers or nearby areas of castles, but when there is no way to go outside, then that becomes a problem. You might think about the defenders throwing their waste over the castle walls. Well, a form of early biological warfare is shooting waste with catapults into the castle. I know it sounds a little ridiculous, but that was really the first form of biological warfare. And it wasn't just waste. For example, during the bubonic plague, the attackers catapulted the waste and the corpses of dead animals and people who carried the plague. We have a historical record which confirms the catapulting of dead bodies in order to spread diseases in a castle during a siege. The book Historia de Morbo from Gabriel de Mussis, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, says the following. But they ordered corpses to be placed in catapults and lobbed into the city in the hope that the intolerable stench would kill everyone in sight. What seemed like mountains of dead were thrown into the city and the people could not hide or flee or escape from them. And soon the rotting corpses tainted the air and poisoned the water supply. Executions are probably one of the most controversial topics in Bannerlord. Some people like them because when executing enemy lords you can easily win wars. Others don't like them at all because you will get hated by a lot of people. But the question is, did kings or lords get executed in real life? The short answer is yes, but in very specific circumstances. If the said person was cruel, he would get punished for what he has done. Here we can talk about the war between Bulgaria and the Eastern Roman Empire and the Battle of Verbița Pass in the year 811. 2 times the Bulgarian leader asked for peace and 2 times it was rejected. Emperor Nicephorus advanced to the capital of Bulgaria, Pliska, and destroyed it, killing many women, children and elderly people in the process. Then, on the way back to Constantinople, he was caught in the pass of Verbița and the army of the empire was slaughtered. For the cruelty he was executed and literally turned into a cup from which the Bulgarian leader drank during feasts, which is thought to make him get the power of the deceased emperor. So, yeah, executions of nobles did exist in the medieval times. Next up, I want to say a few words about the cultures in the game and how correctly they represent real-life cultures. If we take a look at the names of the clans, we are going to see some similarities to real life. For example, the clans of the Aserai start with the word Banu, which means sons of or descendants of. The same word exists in the Arabic history. For example, the dynasty that ruled the Arabic Caliphate from 661 to 750 is named Banu Umayyad. One more similarity. The Sturgeons, who are considered to be the Slavic people of Calradia, carry the title Knyaz, the same title carried by real-life Slavic leaders mostly in Kievan Rus. The same thing we can say for the title Archon, the one used in the Eastern Roman Empire. Other than these things, the name of weapons are also correctly included. An example is the weapon named Shestuper used by the Sturgeons, or the Aserai, who use the Adarga and the Kaskara, African shield and sword. Now let's talk about the weapons. In the game, something that comes really close to real life is that the blunt weapons deal more damage to armored soldiers than swords. Of course, in real life, soldiers would try to find gaps in the armor of opponents and exploit them, but that's not possible in the game. That's why blunt weapons have a higher armor penetration when it comes to heavy armored units, but when it comes to unarmored units, swords are better. But one thing that is a bit confusing is that archers can fire arrows non-stop, or until their arrows run out. What I'm trying to say is that you can see archers with longbows shooting like it's nothing, but in real life it takes a lot of strength and energy to shoot a longbow for an extended period of time. On the screen is a clip from the YouTube channel Todd's workshop, and you can see and hear what it's like. And by the way, that was only his third shot. Keep in mind that it's just a game, and it would be really hard to take everything from real life and include it in a game. Well, that's enough of me talking about what has got my attention. Now it's your turn to do that. Go in the comment section below this video and type anything that has impressed you or anything that is related to the history of your country. I will be really happy to read anything. If you want a second part, you can ask me anything else you want me to react to, or ask about more interesting cases in the Bulgarian history, like the case with the cup. If you want to watch more Bannerlord content, click on this playlist here, and if you want to support the channel, you can do that by becoming a member, which is really appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.